Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the third round. I had to get my math right. I wasn't here for a week. Third round of the ARL's Rookie Series. I am Kaito Nasa, back from my 1 week vacation.
And I'm Kevin Karais. Glad Kaito's nice and safe, ready to go. Excited for a Tuesday race at Spa. See if someone can dethrone Perot.
It's gonna be fun to watch. I'm very excited whenever I see a race happening at Spa. All kind of technical, but also very fast circuit. And it's gonna be fun to see what these M2s are able to do tonight.
Yeah, I'm especially intrigued seeing if they're going to be able to go full throttle through Eau Rouge and Radion, and how they're going to be able to stop going into the chicane at the end of the track. That's going to be my two big spots for maybe some good racing, but maybe some incidents. So I'm excited to see what happens.
I will say I've raced Toyota 86s at Spa in iRacing, and you can go flat out of that. I'm pretty sure, as long as you're confident and you're not side by side through Eau Rouge, you should be able to go flat out. If you're side by side, it could be a little sketchy.
Yeah, maybe not do that. Try to be safe. Finish. It is a quick race, but you still want to finish. I jumped into the driver chat a little bit. They were discussing whether or not they could. Some of them were feeling that they couldn't, but we'll see what happens as the race progresses and they get more comfortable.
Of course, right now we've got qualifying going on right now. Riding on with the 222 machine of Warm Water, whose best lap right now is a 2:48.81. Looking to improve on that already.
Yeah, I was just watching some practice. It seemed like we had some familiar people on the top of the timetables there, with Perot, Green, Warm Water all battling for the fastest time in practice. We'll see if they can find a gap and set a good fast lap here in qualifying.
Right now, it's looking like Perot is 16th on the qualifying table right now. I don't know if that's just from lack of a valid lap, but I would assume so with how fast Perot was going in practice. That it's just the fact that maybe some track limits not going in Perot's favor right now.
Sure, yeah, it seems like he's about to come to the end of a lap. We'll see if it is a valid one. See if he can get a time on the board.
And it looks like that's all it was just trying to get a valid lap, and Perot taking your pole position. If I can swap over to Perot real quick, as I think Sharp was out in the grass doing a little landscaping for a second.
Yeah, it seems like Perot got a 2-minute 40-second lap, 2:40.8. So moving pretty quick here. Track state's probably optimum. Getting some fast times. Seems like faster than practice.
Cherry doesn't seem too far behind. Cherry also really strong during qualifying. And on the relative, only about 2 seconds ahead of Perot. Of course, the relative not really meaning anything during qualifying. Could mean dirty air, could mean getting a nice bit of tow, though, through Radion. And into the Kimmel Straight.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just peeking at the standings from last week, because I remember Cherry from the first race we had, qualified pretty high, was battling, I believe, with Peppers, ended up finishing in 5th. Missed Cherry in the last race, so we'll see as Cherry returns from a little break if they can compete in that top 5 range where they were in the first race.
Of course, our driver's very excited to get back into the cockpit of these M2s after a week of duking it out at Zolder. You gotta imagine the drivers having to go from one type of track to another, and especially when it comes to Spa. Spa's one of the more popular tracks, I would say, but also maybe one of the more demanding, at least in some aspects.
Yeah, for sure. The lap times here are going to be longer. It's a longer track. I'm curious to see if anyone kind of stands out here as opposed to Zolder with the long flowing turns with some tight technical things in there, but Zolder was all tight, not a lot of room to pass or maneuver, so excited to see if someone can make some moves here on a nice long track at Spa.
Currently riding on board with your pole position leader right now with Perot. Not doing so well on their last attempt on the lap time, but it looks like they're trying to improve that at the moment as getting ready to go through a Rouge. Might be trying to use Cherry as a bit of a slipstream help to get their time faster.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely not a bad idea. Cherry running some quick laps, so staying close, get a little bit of slipstream, get that little extra boost. I'm riding along with Green, who was neck and neck there with Perot. I think they were split by like 100th or so in practice, seeing if he can improve his time. He's up a second on his lap, going through Blanchimont right now.
Right now,
see if he can stay valid and get a nice fast lap in.
Right now, Perot actually a little bit behind their best lap time right now. Maybe getting close. The delta bar going red, then green, then back to red. So we'll see if Perot's able to improve on this lap, trying to use some of that slipstream from Cherry, as he goes wide and is going to invalidate the run.
Oh no. As I was just taking a peek back at Green. Green finished his lap a second, 1.3 seconds ahead of his last lap, which only brings him about 3/10 off of Perot, excuse me, 3 or 4 tenths. He's currently sitting in second place, trying to improve again.
And there's a car that just lost traction. That's the number 4 of King. Going to spin it around, get back facing the correct direction. Maybe just got a little bit loose there. And easy to do in some of these turns here at Spa, as we're down to the 2-minute interval. If drivers haven't already started or are about to start their next qualifying lap, you gotta imagine this is probably the last lap that they're gonna run in for their qualifying chance. Not too long of a qualifying time. Not that many laps that you can run in compared to some of the other tracks that we've had this season so far, and upcoming. Spa, again, as you said, very long, and so drivers trying to take the most that they can in the short amount of time that they have to qualify.
Yeah, absolutely. Qualifying at 2 minutes 40 seconds, you're looking at 5, maybe 6 laps if you're maxing out the time out on track during this 15-minute qualifying. So it's tough. You gotta maximize these laps. It seems like I saw Peppers was showing yellow on the track, so he looks like he's done for the day. Currently sitting in 4th, I believe, as Green was up a few tenths, but now is fighting to keep his lap green to try to take over Perot's pole position. Doesn't seem like it's going to happen as he continues to lose time through Blanchimont. So looks like his qualifying is done, unless he can get there in time. Excuse me.
Warm water in the pits. Perot looking to increase as they get to the end of the Kimmel Straight into I'm not even gonna try to pronounce it. I can't speak French, so I'm not even gonna try it.
Look, I believe it's Lacombe's.
I believe you're correct. I don't know if that's the correct pronunciation, but we're gonna go with that.
Yeah, that'll work. As I saw, Green was slowing down significantly, looking like he was trying to find a nice clean gap of air so he can really give this his final effort to dethrone Perot, who's qualified in the first 2 races so far.
Turn 9 being the enemy of Perot. Perot going off into the grass, going to invalidate the lap. Was actually improving on their lap time. Now 4 seconds back on their lap. Looks like they're just going to ride it out. Finish up the session to get the max wait time that we have to do between qualifying and race session to be less. But
right.
Perot probably not too upset, because still sitting comfortably in the pole position.
Yeah. As Green, I'm watching, following along. Green is actually gaining some time through Lacombe's here, up 0.3. We'll see if he can keep it throughout their lap. Green and Perot the first race kind of pulled away and was kind of comfortable. Green and Perot, you missed last week. They were neck and neck within 1-2 seconds of each other the whole race. Green was putting pressure on Perot, but Perot was able to hold out at the end. I'm curious to see how Perot does through the second sector. In practice, seems like it was slower for him compared to Green. He did end up improving that time in the second sector, but I believe it was only on 1 lap. So right there, we saw him go off on turn 9. We'll see if he can keep his nerve through that second sector with Green trying to push him.
Right now I'm riding with Lore, as Lore's gonna be, looks like, heading towards Blanchimont.
Oh, and Green, excuse me, just looks like going through turn 13, got a little bit loose and has to end his qualifying run. So it looks like he's gonna start in second place.
Lore currently improving. I don't know if they've got enough time. They do. They're going to go through the chicane over 1.5 seconds better than their qualifying time.
Yeah,
will that be enough to get them a higher position?
Yeah, let's see. Oh,
it does. They get into 11th.
Nice. Big move there on the final lap. With the short race that they're gonna have, every track position matters. So that's a big thing for Lore there.
As we quickly look through the timetable real quick to give you your qualifying results. Perot going to take the pole position. Green not too far behind, only 0.3 seconds behind on their qualifying time. As I have to pull up the qualifying timetable again. You gotta love it. You gotta love when the lobby does that. Green not too far behind, only about 0.3 seconds. Followed by Cherry, only 0.9, and then Peppers in the 4th position. 5th is Ryder, Warmwater 6th, Sea King in 7th, Khan in 8th, Man in 9th, and Harrigan rounding out the top 10.
Yeah, exciting top 10. Some guys that are lower in the standings so far for the season, starting higher. So excited to see how they go. We have Lore, who we saw there at the end, jumped up to 11th place. Nixon in 12th place. Stevens in 3rd. Turkey looking to fight up the field from 14th place. Dino in 15th. B Sharp in 16th. Chambers in 17th. And L King in 18th. And Donis 20th. And that is the field.
I think ACC is having a little bit of a bug, because it's saying you're 19th, my friend.
yeah, in the spectator. But it seems like Donis didn't set a time, so we'll see if he may be disconnected or if he's running this race. But we'll monitor that in the 10 machine, who had a really good comeback race last week at Zolder after having just struggle after struggle in the first race. He really did well at Zolder.
It looks like Donis is still in the server, so maybe just had a lot of trouble trying to set a qualifying time. As we are going to quickly pull up your points going into this race here at Spa, the Rising Star Trophy. As currently your points leader is going to be Perot, sitting very comfortably with about a 16-point lead, if I'm reading that correctly.
Yep.
Green not too far behind. Peppers in third, and Warm Water going to be in fourth in the points.
Yeah, our top two, first Perot with 2 first place finishes, Green with 2 second place finishes. We'll see if Green can steal one back here. Peppers, after finishing third last week, jumped up to third place. Warm Water, unfortunately, finishing in 7th. We'll see how Warm Water can do. If Warm Water was moving quick in practice, so we'll see if they can jump up some positions starting in 6th place.
Interesting note.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, interesting to note, after 5th place, the points get really, really tight. We've got a tie for 6th, and then a tie for 8th right now.
Yeah, yep. 113 and 110 for those 2 positions. So those four who have been battling, we saw some tight, like 7, 8, 9, 10 position racing recently in the past 2 races. So those guys tighten the points as well. We'll see if anyone can kind of jump out from that pack right there.
And then the points still extremely tight from there. Nixon in 10th, followed very closely behind by Vergold. And I mean, like, extremely close. And then after that, D. Donis, only 1 point behind Vergold.
Yeah, D. Donis finishing, unfortunately, 22nd in the first race. Had a great race last week and finished in 8th. So, definitely, he's back up in the mix. Khan not too far back, only 4 points back in 13th. Lore 6 points back from there, so it's tight. It's tight. 6th back is going to be a good battle to see these next few races, who kind of emerges, because it's close in points, that's for sure.
Sharp in 15th, Thompson 16th, Cherry 17th after not being able to be in last week's race. Aragon in 18th, and Lamb King 19th in the points.
Yeah, there typically is a drop week, so we'll see what happens with people like Cherry, who had a strong finish in the first race. I'm not sure if it's something with the preseason race that's kind of tweaking the point standings right now, but yep, it's gonna be fun. So drivers right now are currently in the drivers briefing, going over being safe, how being safe in turn, the first lap, especially going at the end of the Kemmel Straight. The rookies have been very clean the first lap or two, so just reiterating how important that is, talking about blue flag rules, cautions, just getting the rundown for the ARL kind of rules and expectations.
Your current forecast here at Spa in Belgium. It is going to be a very cloudy race with, it looks like the race going to be pretty much cloudy the entire duration. Track condition currently fast. We'll see if there's enough time, probably is, for these drivers to get the track into more of an optimum configuration, to have a little more rubber on the track to give them more grip. Currently sitting at 13 degrees Celsius for your air temperature. Track temperature 16 degrees, and actually very, very calm with the wind. No wind at all, so drivers don't have to worry about having to fight the wind down the straight.
Yeah, in the rookie series here at ARL, we kind of keep the forecast clear of any rain or weather. It's a great series for people to get on track with other drivers of comparable skill level, get used to driving around other cars in a competitive setting. So no rain, unfortunately, for the Wednesday night series. Tomorrow it's looking very likely that there's going to be rain at least at some point in the race. But these guys have a cold track, but cloudy here at Spa.
I found with the cold temperatures, it's you got to bump up those tire pressures. Of course, that means sometimes you can try and push a little more on the colder temperatures. From my own experience, I don't know. But I felt like sometimes you can push the car a little more depending on how cold it gets.
Yeah, yeah, lower tire pressures, might be able to get a little bit more grip. The key is just making sure that these drivers have them set for to be in that optimal range of 26 to 27 psi. Fuel, a big important thing. Hopefully everyone during practice looked at their fuel consumption and considered the time of the race, with no pit stop here in these 40-minute sprint races. So making sure that they have a full fuel load. I believe on the first race there was a driver who was kind of struggling to finish, so making sure their fuel is set with the formation lap in mind, very important.
These cars don't have a fuel map option, right? I know that the GT3 cars do. I don't know about the M2s though.
Yeah, I believe they don't. I personally don't like to mess around with the fuel map in fear that I'm gonna leave it on my formation lap fuel map setting. So I kind of just give myself a little extra buffer of 5 to 7 liters of fuel so I can make sure I absolutely have enough to get it to the finish.
I will be completely honest. I have accidentally left myself in fuel map 8 in the Aston Martin once or twice at the start of the race. Was wondering why I was falling back extremely quickly. Looked over in the corners like, oh, I'm not in the right engine map. Oh, right. No.
Yeah, definitely something that can kind of slip your mind. I've had that happen in kind of like a just for fun race when I was just starting out here in ARL, and after that I vowed to myself that I'm not going to mess with it because I will forget about it. I'm just going to give myself a few extra liters.
30 seconds.
As we now get the 30-second mark. So drivers getting ready to finalize gridding up.
Yep, making sure that they hit drive so they do not start from the pits, which this pit lane is very long here at Spa. Hopefully everyone avoids getting any penalties here.
Looks like a few drivers taking the time to wait fully to grid up, probably to optimize. A fun, neat little trick if you don't know about ACC. If you stay in the setup screen for a little longer, it keeps your tire pressure set to what your setup is. Versus if you grid as soon as you can, it'll the air temperature and everything with your car sitting will actually make your tires colder and make your tire pressures fall.
Yep, yeah, for sure. Sitting out on track, especially with these cars that do not have tire warmers, definitely gonna cool down your tires. Similar things happen in the pits. If you get out of your setup screen and sit in the garage, your tire pressures will drop dramatically. So yeah, probably a good idea to wait, but be very careful about not missing that time, because starting from the pits is gonna set you back for sure.
Drivers currently in the single file for the majority of the formation lap going through the Kimmel Straight.
Yeah, I hear lots of brakes being hit. You hear the squeal of the brakes, people riding their brakes, trying to warm these tires up on this cold spot track so they can be aggressive here at the start, try to gain some positions.
Of course, Perot, you got to think Perot being dominant the entirety of this season so far, probably looking in their rearview mirror and seeing just this long line of cars behind them. Probably thinking, I've done this 2 times already this season. I'm ready to do it a 3rd time. Meanwhile, one of the drivers in that long train of cars probably looking towards the front with that red and white painted car of Perot, seeing it as just a giant target to try and get past.
Yeah, Green sitting in 2nd position has been looking behind Perot. Last race a lot closer than the first race, so we'll see if the pressure can get to Perot and lead to Green being able to lead here during the Rookie Series.
Nice, beautiful weather here in Belgium. Going to be nice and cloudy, making sure that the sun doesn't get too hot on us, so we can enjoy some nice racing today.
Yes, beautiful overcast weather, nice and gray. Perfect for racing.
As the driver's going to go through turn, I'm pretty sure that's turn 15.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not going to try to pronounce a name that's French.
I'm not going to be going to either. Turn 15 and 16, definitely a big one in gaining some lap time. Because they lead, the exit of 16 leads right through Blanchimont into the chicane. So if you get that right, you can definitely gain some lap time.
Especially if you're able to stay flat out through that entire section too.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Being mindful of going wide out of 16, having to overcorrect and slowing down. Making sure they keep their momentum in these BMWs.
As we see our drivers on the way up to the chicane, already starting to get into that double file formation. We're going to do a ride on board with Perot to get the green flag.
Here we go.
Drivers speeding up to the allotted time or allotted speed limit. Gonna have to wait to get down to down through turn 1 before the flag actually drops.
Yeah, should be interesting with drivers in the back maybe being stuck in La Source at the start. But here we go.
Brakes being dragged one more time, trying to get as much warmth into those brakes and tires as they can as they get ready to head towards a Rouge.
Green light,
and the green flag is dropped. We're underway here at Spa.
Go up to Rouge and Radion.
A couple of drivers too wide back there through a Rouge.
Let's see who's going to be aggressive here going into turn 7 of Lacombe's.
Green looking to try and make a move on the inside, going to tuck back in line as Perot holds off Green.
Yeah. Green has Cherry close behind, looking to make a move of their own.
Heading through Brussels. Perot still ahead, but Green very close behind, ready to make a move if they can. Trying to capitalize on the tow heading into Pouan.
Yeah, the whole field driving well right now. Here on this first lap. Number 960, Lore, unfortunately. Seems like has an incident and is in the back of the pack.
Perot still under pressure by Green, who is themselves under pressure. It's a very close fight between the first 4 cars right now. Perot going a little bit wide, but Green not able to capitalize the gap, going from half a second to about 0.8 seconds now, heading into Blanchimont.
As it looks like that battle for second is tightening between Green, Cherry, and Peppers.
Most of your front runners still single file right now heading into the chicane. Gotta imagine you don't want to make too many risks right now. It's 40 minutes. Not that long of a race in terms of being at Spa, but 40 minutes is still a long time to for something to happen. Right now, Perot with the fastest lap, 3:11.9. You can imagine that's going to come down very quickly.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely, as it looks like warm water makes a move through La Source on Khan, jumping up into 6th place, but Khan is going back at him. They might be going side by side through Radion and Eau Rouge. So it looks like they are, and Khan takes it. And warm water kind of flips back. So Khan getting his 6th place back. As Harrigan looks to move on warm water and take 7th.
Warm water on the inside of the first part of the combs. Going to stay ahead of Harrigan at the moment, but Harrigan very close. Got like looks like their front bumper to the rear. They're gonna tuck back in line.
Yeah, they were side by side, but unfortunately Harrigan has to fall back, as it seems like Chambers might have had a difficulty getting out of Eau Rouge and Radion. I know I had my fair share of crashes there today during practice for tomorrow's race. Unfortunately had to tow back to the pits. So a tough start for Chambers.
Riding on with Khan, but the fight currently, warm water and Harrigan. Gonna see if I can switch over to them really quickly. Indeed I can. As Khan maybe getting a little bit of the grass there in front of them, but right now Harrigan probably just focused on getting warm water's position.
Yeah. Khan slides through that turn. As all the drivers are headed through Blanchimont, leading up to the chicane, with the first 4 still tightly packed together, battling for the lead.
Harrigan's still close enough to utilize the tow, but not going to as they get into the chicane, heading towards the start-finish line. Battle for 7th still heating up right now. As Harrigan with a slightly faster lap time instead of warm water.
Yeah, it seemed like warm water had to pull off a little bit at one point. Might have lost a bit of time, but keeping his position. As all 3 of them get through that safely. Harrigan with a little wiggle at the top of the hill, falling back a little bit.
Gonna lose about a second. Although still faster than their last lap time.
Yeah, you want to maximize that straight, the Kemmel straight, as much as possible. Any little wiggle can unfortunately lose you quite a bit of time.
Moving back to the front of the field, Green very close to our leader right now, still keeping within half a second.
Yeah, and as I believe Dinosaur, it seemed, has had an incident, slowed down, but is back on track. Yeah, these first top 4 drivers very close to each other, with Ryder not too far behind in 5th.
Green been so close to Perot this entire season so far. Gotta imagine what's going through their head right now is they're within striking distance if they can just close the gap a little bit more as they get ready to go into Blanchimont. Perot maybe a little bit wide, gonna make the gap go in less than a second, but Green going to take a little bit of a slide, goes wide.
Yes, yeah. Very difficult turn there. Especially with these cars. You want to keep the momentum as much as possible, so it might lead to a little bit of understeer and going wide, but he's able to keep it and stay right there in Perot's mirrors.
Of course, that's going to make the gap between Green and Cherry decrease now, and Green going to close the gap in, maybe braking a little later to try and get closer through the chicane.
Yeah, that chicane looked very clean from Green right there. Did very well to maybe gain some of that time that he lost back.
Green, it looked almost a second faster than Perot right now, so definitely has the pace to try and make a move. Just got to find the right opportunity.
Yeah, that's the tough part with Perot is last race he felt the pressure of Green, but it didn't let it get to him, and he was able to hold him off. It's got to be frustrating when you got a driver like Perot who's been very consistent all season in front of you, and just trying to get any kind of moment where he could take advantage.
Green staying right behind Perot, going to maximize the slipstream down the Kimmel Straight. Not letting that gap fall over a second. As the two leaders starting to check out from third place right now. Third place, a second and a half behind Green.
Yeah, I've been following along with Peppers, who's behind the third place of Cherry, who's been about a second behind Cherry as well, but it has allowed Ryder to kind of enter this battle for third now, only a second behind Peppers.
Heading on through Pouan, still less than a second separating Perot and Green. Perot probably wanting to try and think about what they want to do.
For some close battles behind. It seems like Nixon is very close to Donis, who we were speaking about earlier. Only about 5/10 off, looking to make a move. As the leaders are still very close to each other. I'll keep you posted in terms of the battle for 12th.
Green going to use a little bit of the grass to help turn that M2. As Perot's starting to check out a little bit, but Green going to stay within a second.
And it's good to see Chambers has fixed their damage and is heading back on track.
Gap between Green and Cherry increasing now to little over 3 seconds now. So first and second place checking out, now going to of course that means Green doesn't really have any help to try and push him to try and get closer to Perot, but also doesn't have to worry about pressure behind trying to take away that second position away from them.
Yeah, if I were in Green shoes, I'd prefer the kind of little breathing room behind personally. Not feeling the pressure, so he can just set all of his attention on setting in consistently quick laps to try to catch back up to Perot here.
Perot cracking into the 240s last lap at 240.7, and it looks like Chambers.
Oh, yeah, lots of front end damage here. It's unfortunate. Brussels always a tricky corner. I know I've found myself losing it every now and then. It's very tight right-hander. It's deceptive how tight it is. Unfortunate there.
Drivers doing their best to be safe around Chambers right now. Chambers being very patient with their rejoin. Love to see drivers wanting to be aware of their surroundings.
Yeah, definitely important to be eyes on your relative here in that situation. Seeing the gap of the car behind you, if they're coming up quick, to just be patient, wait for a nice solid gap to get back out on track safely.
As Chambers going to find that gap. Lots of front end damage on that 626 machine.
It's a tough, unfortunate race, but good thing about the Rookie Series, we got another one next Tuesday. So, just more experience out on track. Always good to get.
Of course, Chambers looking probably just to try and nurse the machine back to pit road. As we see the lights flickering, so a lot of damage.
Yeah.
But you love to see the never give up attitude from these drivers.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, you spend some time practicing, getting used to the track, getting comfortable with the track. Unfortunately, mistakes happen. You find yourself in the wall, but definitely want to maximize that time out on the track. So maybe get repaired, get back on track.
As the battle for 11th for gold, and Donis going to make a move on the inside of turn 1, going to make it stick, it looks like. Vergold not able to do the switchback.
Yeah, great move there from Donis into turn 1. Donis pulling away from Nixon, who I was watching before, was very close behind, but Donis wanting to improve his track position and get another solid finish here.
The number 10 machine a little over a second and a half away from C King to try and get the 10 machine into 10th.
Yeah, as I'm tracking the battle for 6th right now. It seems that Warmwater did make a move on Khan, so Warmwater's in 6th. Khan only about a second behind, was a little bit less before, and Harrigan still tight with that group, only 5/10 behind Khan, trying to make a move on him.
Ryder is right on the bumper of C Peppers right now, as they're getting ready to go through a tricky set of corners, not wanting to give up any position right now.
Yeah, unfortunately battling and defending is gonna maybe lead Peppers to lose some time to the driver in front, Cherry, but he's gonna want to hold that 4th position.
The gap's starting to increase a little bit again. I think Ryder maybe made a slight error, went a little wide. What was a 2/10 gap, now a second and a half.
As I was just watching, Khan unfortunately catching a wiggle and saving himself, but going wide out of turn 16, allowing Harrigan to take 7th place.
Peppers not letting Cherry out of their sights either. Gap only slightly more than a second. May see that decrease as they head into turn 1. Turn 1, of course, a little tricky. You kind of want to use that curve on the exit, but you don't want to take too much because you can end up taking what I like to call, thanks to an iMetric Zane's, a spinala, if you will.
There you go, yeah. Taking too much definitely could lead to a spinala, that's for sure, going through turn 1. Seems like Peppers has pulled away a little bit from Ryder, but still within that second time frame.
Rowe pulling away from green, the gap a little less than 2 seconds right now.
Yeah, unfortunately, green is not going to have the benefit of traffic, it looks like, here at Spa as we head closer to the halfway mark of this race. With a smaller field and very long track, as we were mentioning before, probably not going to deal with too much traffic here as opposed to Zolder, which caused some interesting moments at the end of the race with the leaders having to kind of manage their way through some of the lap traffic.
As it looks like battle for 6th place starting to heat up a little bit more. Harrigan and Warmwater, their gap less than a second. I say that, commentator's curse. But Harrigan able to reel that back in using the toe.
Yeah, and as it looks like Cherry had a moment in that same spot. It seems like it's troubling a lot of people here in that series through 15 and 16 before Blanchimont went wide. Unfortunately lost 2 positions, falls back to 5th place. Peppers kind of inheriting 3rd place there.
Battle for 6th heading into the chicane. Maybe gonna close the gap a little bit for just a slight moment before Warmwater gets back onto the power to pull away.
Yeah, we'll see if Warmwater and Harrigan can kind of together push their way up to Cherry. Maybe we'll see if Cherry can shake off that mistake and hold these guys off with 21 minutes left in the race.
Looks like Harrigan went on the brakes slightly to avoid a little wiggle there through a Rouge. Pulling on through Radion onto the Kimmel Straight.
Yeah. Losing a little bit of time, but rather be safe here. As Green was getting closer to Perot, I was watching them as he went a little bit wide, falling
halfway through, not over yet.
slightly further back from Perot, but still in his mirror, just trying to do whatever he can to catch up to Perot.
Race control giving us the halfway mark into this race. As Harrigan not wanting to let Warmwater out of his sights. They both go on through Puan.
Yeah, it's been a relatively clean race. Some drivers unfortunately having moments by themselves, but no major incidents. Right now, Khan is leading a pack of about 4 or 5 cars here that are all pretty close together. Again, in that 8, 9, 10 position, which we've seen some tight battling the first 2 races. Again, we have some familiar drivers in Turkey in 9th, Chris King in 10th, and Donis in 11th, all trying to catch up to Khan.
Currently a very close battle for 16th right now between Lore and Dinosaur. The fight being about half a second apart.
Yep, very close racing here.
Both of them getting ready to go to through turn 16 into Blanchimont.
Yep, they both get through it cleanly. Seems like both drivers are trying to gain some positions back as they had each had their own moments earlier in the race, but were able to keep racing, battling for the 16th position.
And Dinosaur going to make a move. Taking a peek on that outside line, going to get past Lore. I think he might have crossed the start-finish line right before him, too.
He's got great exit out of the chicane there. Able to get ahead of Lore. As Ryder just passes Peppers, I may have passed him slightly before. I was just catching back up to this group here, fighting for third. As Peppers, Ryder, and Cherry all very close to each other, trying to secure that final podium position, with Ryder currently in third place.
Peppers not wanting to let that out of his sight, though. Cherry maybe a little bit wide through that little technical section there.
Yeah, very close. We'll see who can get a good run out of turn 16.
As we take a ride on board with Ryder right now. You gotta imagine with that camera angle that I was getting a little uncomfortable seeing Peppers that close behind. You gotta imagine what Ryder's feeling right now as the actual driver in that machine.
Yeah, it seems like Peppers had a 2:44 last lap, so might have had a moment, but is running. Has been running pretty solid fast laps, so Ryder's got to be aware that he's there, but focus ahead, try to keep on track, clean, fast laps to keep Peppers behind.
Peppers, though, kind of in a bit of a bind, though, because, yeah, you're close enough to go after Ryder, but right behind you is Cherry, and Cherry going to close the gap, it looks like, as I try to switch on back.
Yeah, Cherry's about 5/10 back, right in Peppers' mirror. So it's kind of switched from Peppers looking to attack Ryder, now falling back to about a second, 1.2 seconds behind, but Cherry now in the mirror. It looks like it had a little bit of a wiggle, might give Peppers a little breathing room.
Seems like just a bit, but not really enough to go scot-free.
Yeah, and Cherry stays there. So should be interesting to see how this plays out. It seems like they've jumped. Cherry was in third, had a moment, fell back 2 positions. Peppers took over third. Potentially had a moment, losing about 2 seconds on a lap. Ryder now taking third, so it's about who can finish these last about 14 minutes clean.
Cherry going wide, but still going to be close to Peppers right now as they get ready to head towards Blanchimont.
Peppers lifting there, staying on track.
Cherry maybe taking a peek on the inside, thinks differently.
Yeah, who can get a good run out of the chicane? Cherry takes a little bit of that curve, potentially slowing him down a little bit.
Cherry with the fastest lap time out of the out of the other two drivers looking for that final podium position at the moment. All of them within striking distance of each other. Getting through turn one, heading towards Eau Rouge. Let's see who gets the better run into Radion. Through Eau Rouge, fairly even. Through Radion, maybe Peppers with a little bit more of a run as they get into the Kimmel Straight.
Yeah, it looked from Pepper's mirror like Cherry slid a little bit wide, maybe hitting that inside curb, slowing down a little bit at the top of the hill, but all still close to each other, fighting for that final podium position.
Cherry getting a little bit more of a slide there as well as they head into Brussels.
Yeah, I was just checking in as we were watching that battle. Seems like Perot is within 5/10 of Green, or Green is within 5/10 of Perot. Not sure exactly how they got there, but they go wide, losing a bit of time through Pouan.
Still within a second of distance to try and maybe shake Perot up a little bit. You got to think, if you're Green, not that many more laps to go here at Spa. It's go time. You can't wait like you can these other tracks where it's like, oh, I still got another like 5 minutes to decide what I want to do. No, 11 minutes at Spa, it's about go time.
Yep, as Green struggles a little bit out of 16, that's going to slow him down, but still on a green lap. Trying to push here, but Perot pulling away, getting a cleaner exit out of 16. Seems like the exit of 16 has made quite a difference in this race, causing people to lose time or even lose positions here so far.
As quickly we run into the fight for third, Ryder and Peppers. Peppers less than half a second in that gap as they get into the chicane.
Yeah, as I'm just peeking at the track map, it looks like Dinosaur, unfortunately, who was battling with Floor, kind of struggled to get back on track, but is back on track. I'll check in to see if he's dealing with any damage. His car looks relatively clean, so maybe just got loose in the grass, but back on track.
It looks like maybe the gap between Perot and Green increased a little bit more. Kind of invested this battle for the final podium position right now. Ryder with a little bit faster at the moment with their Delta, but Pepper's not too far behind.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting battle here for the final podium position. Got to be frustrating for Green, battling back up to about 5/10 and then having a bit of a moment losing time.
Although Green going to get back to that, looks like half a second gap.
Yep, I apologize, I was just peeking at Donis, who just made a move at the end of the Kimmel Straight, had a better run through Eau Rouge and Radion on Turkey, and was able to secure a pass on the outside going into Lacombe's in turn 7. So great move from Donis, back up to 8th place.
Looks like Perot was a bit wide through Pouan, letting Green catch really close now, back to half a second.
Yeah, just staying within striking distance. Any little mistake is going to give you a chance. So here's Green's chance with 8 minutes left.
Getting up towards Blanchimont. Gap slowly decreasing. Little by little. Green a little wide, but still going to close the gap.
Yeah, Green was running a green lap that whole time. till the very end, taking a little bit of curb there, but not losing too much time.
Still a faster lap time than Perot right now.
Yeah, Green has been running 241 ones pretty consistently here. So you lose a few tenths, going a little wide in Perot, and it's going to give Green a chance.
Battle for third, Ryder and Peppers had almost identical lap times as well. Got to be kind of frustrating for Peppers, seeing that both you and Ryder have close to the same lap time, so not gaining but not losing on that fight for third either.
Yeah, it's tough. It's just gonna have to, do your best to keep those quick times and see if you'll get a chance. But yeah, it could be frustrating when the person in front of you is driving right about the same as you, and yeah, but we'll see with 7 minutes to go if anything happens in that battle for third.
Currently still interested in this fight for the lead,
Yeah.
as it looks like both drivers go a little bit wide. But Green maybe with a better run.
Yeah. Green much better through Puan this lap. Running a green lap again, so putting that pressure on, pushing as much as he can.
6 minutes left on the clock. That's only about less than 3 laps here at Spa, as Green desperately making looks on the inside of Perot.
Yeah, we'll see this exit of 16. Both get through it pretty clean. Green may be losing a tenth there, but still running right about his pace.
Both drivers heading into the chicane. As the gap still as close as it was pretty much since the entirety of the race when the green flag dropped.
Yeah, Perot throwing in a flyer of a lap there, dipping into the 240s, 240.8, running his qualifying time as the fuel load drops here with 5 minutes to go. It looked like he got a really good exit out of the chicane. I think that was a big difference there, as the delta jumped up from about 9/10 to 1.5 seconds. So we'll see if Green can get back, as it looks like we have a yellow in sector 2. Chambers waiting to get back on safely. We'll see if this lap traffic with 4 minutes to go that these drivers are the leader and second place they're driving into, if that's gonna maybe give Green a chance here.
Green just as adamant as ever, not wanting to let Perot go that easy.
Yeah, as I'm watching those tightly battling cars, the 9th, 10th, looks like Green looking to make a move on the inside of turn 7, as Green's closing in on Perot, trying to make a move.
Going through Puan, it looks like. Going to stay very close to each other.
Yeah, Perot just sticking to his racing line, trying to keep that rearview mirror out of his mind.
As Perot a little wide.
Yeah, I was about to say Green was a little bit wide exiting 15, but Perot wide exiting 16.
as they get ready to go into Blanchimont. Still no worries about lap traffic yet. 8.5 seconds away from them.
Yep. Looks like they might be clean. We'll see as Peppers is 5/10 behind Ryder. Keep you posted about that going through the chicane.
As you have to imagine, this is going to be the final lap, I would think, with the timer running close to the end.
Yeah, I would believe so, as they're going through La Source in turn 1. Yeah, it looks like this might be the final lap. Is the 41 car of Harrigan. Oh no. Unfortunately, having a moment in the chicane, losing maybe a position to warm water. I'm not 100% sure, but definitely losing some time there.
Green getting a good run through Rouge and Radion side by side down the Kimmel Straight.
Oh, just could not make it stick there in the combs, but Perot with the wiggle. It's gonna come down to it.
Green not giving up their chance. Seeing maybe a slight moment of weakness in Perot.
78.
Perot a little wide. Green looking on the inside now.
Inside. Oh, but backs off. As we have
Wiggle
Elking
from
in
Perot.
front. Yeah, this should be interesting with Elking in front.
See who can get through the lap traffic easier.
Yeah. Looks like Perot goes on the inside here. They both take a lot of curb. See if
King
this
going to get
doesn't-
ahead of Green though.
Oh, that's gonna slow down Green big time there. Oh, so unfortunate. As he had to slow down quite a bit there to not go wide.
And it looks like Perot going to continue their dominant streak. As maybe some
Green
contact
saves
between
it.
King and Green. Green definitely going wide there though.
Yeah, Green hit the curb there and went wide, saved it. Oh, and he gets so close to Perot.
I couldn't tell if there was contact or if it was from the camera angle, but you got the better look on it. Just a slight curb hit, and Perot going to take the checkered flag.
Oh, what a race though. Green getting so close, having his moments there. But Perot, another awesome pole position to start to finish, with Green in his mirror. As it seems, I know the order gets a little mixed up here when they're all jumbled up, but Perot with the win, Green in second place, Ryder ending up finishing in third, with Peppers only 4/10 behind in fourth place, and Warmwater finishing out a solid fifth. A lot of tight battling there, so that's our top 5. Harrigan having that moment, only finishing sixth, only 1.5 seconds behind Warmwater. Donis with another solid drive, finishing in 7th, improving from his race finish last week in 8th place. So excellent driving from Donis. Khan in 8th, a solid finish. Chris King in 9th, and Turkey in 10th.
As you're right, the order getting very jumbled up here at the end. Drivers returning to the pits. Drivers finishing up their laps.
If you return to the garage, it'll give you the order. And we have Mann in 11th, Nixon in 12th, Sharp in 13th, Stevens in 14th, Lauren 15th, Dinosaur 16th. Did Cherry? Oh, Cherry was the 78. I was wondering, I saw the 78 had 2 moments that they were yellow out there in the final laps. Seems like Cherry, unfortunately, having to pit for damage and finishing in 17th. And Elking in 18th as drivers dropped out of the server.
Chambers going to go through the chicane for the final time. Will just make it past the start-finish line. You gotta love to see drivers say, I'm not going to finish until I see the checkered flag. Tough race for Chambers, but extremely glad to see them not give up and stay on the racing track.
Yeah, absolutely. You just gotta get time in the seat, time on track. That's the only way you're gonna improve. So good to see Chambers stay out there and get more experience in these M2s.
As you've pretty much gone through the finishing order. Once again, Perot, not just with the win, but also the fastest lap as well. Perot definitely showing why they belong at the top of the point standing, continuing their dominance.
Yeah, Perot's made a big jump, not only in their speed but consistency, driving excellent, both here and in the Wednesday series. Perot's just done an excellent job. Awesome race there, keeping Green behind. That pressure, feeling the pressure from Green, but holding it off again for the second straight week. Well, third straight week, but second straight week of seeing Green in their mirror the whole time. Great drive.
As quickly, we're going to take a peek at the rest of the season. Already 3 of your points races down, and 5 more races to go in the season. Alton Park up next. Alton Park, kind of a challenging track in and of itself.
Yeah, absolutely. It should be interesting with the chicanes at Alton Park. It's a tight little track. It's going to be tough to pass, but I believe it'll run similar to Zolder with having to navigate lap traffic in a tight track that's hard to pass. Should be very interesting. Excited to see that. I personally am a big fan of Alton Park.
As that should do it for us tonight here in the ARL booth. Evan, thank you so much for joining me again, hanging out, and enjoying some very fun racing. You've got a race tomorrow.
Yes. Thank you for having me. Let me join you on these sessions. It's been fun learning how to do this and watching these exciting races. Glad once again that you're safe and everything's good. Excited to have you back here on Tuesdays. Excited for next week.
Next week is going to be fun. We will see you again next week as our drivers head over to Britain for a good old fun time through Alton Park.
Yep. See you then.